Good morning. It's so nice to be with you. And this morning, beginning of a new day, a new week, a big week, as this week we start with Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of the month of Adar, a month of Mazal and joy. So in the lead up to it, I hope we have a very joyous, positive, happy week. And I wanted to share some form of inspiration today, our number 196 in our series. Something from, I think, a lesson from the Super Bowl game last night, the most watched event throughout the world, throughout the year. Many Americans, Canadians, and many other people around the world watched the Super Bowl event. And what happened, it really connected to this week's portion as well. And it's something that's very much relevant for all of us, a lesson we can take out. The odds were all for Kansas City to win. So whoever bet lost big. Except, I guess, the bookies, Las Vegas, they did very well. Even though the odds were against Kansas City, it was a tremendous upset. But more importantly, I want to focus is that the Buccaneers won. Tom Brady led them again to a victory. And this guy, a new team, a team that last year really didn't do well, and he was able to lead them to an incredible victory. Now, Tom Brady is already 20 years into his career. He's not a young man. And here he's against youth, excitement, someone who has had a tremendous movement on his side, has performed incredibly throughout the year and throughout all the games that he has played for Kansas City. And yet, Tom Brady won. And one of the reasons is I think to be inspired by him. And he himself said, he was asked afterwards, said, what was it that made you win? He says, I go into every game to do my best. Meaning, I don't compare myself to others. I don't live in false worlds and try to do what the other person is doing. I try to do what I can do best. And as we know, that even though he's a great hero already for many years, he never lives on the laurels of yesterday and says, because yesterday I did well, today I'll do well as well. But every day we know he has a tremendous routine that he follows, very disciplined, that follows routine of exercise, of eating, of doing the things that he needs to do to always be in the best shape he can be, mentally, physically, emotionally, to be his best. You know, and this week we learn the Torah portion of Mishpatim, which Mishpatim deal with a lot of laws, civil laws. And often we start thinking, you know, if God wants to give us messages, give us spirituality, give us spiritual laws, why are we getting so into the civil laws of behavior? And this opens a bigger question to Judaism itself. So many of the mitzvahs are really very mundane activities, even the spiritual, putting on tefillin every day, eating specific foods which are kosher, not the ones that are not kosher, very repetitive and very, very much mundane and without any inspiration, without any spirituality behind it, without anything very, very momentous and without an incredible excitement. Isn't this sort of the opposite of what religion or what spirituality, about what connection to God is supposed to be? And the answer is Mishpatim. The key to Judaism is the laws, that all the laws that God had given us are there to help us create a routine, to bring ourselves to be the best we can be on a spiritual plane, physical, material, emotional, mental, every level of our existence. And that happens more with repetitiveness than it will happen with the one-off exciting moments. And I think this is a tremendous lesson for all of us. If you want to win daily, you got to get used to living life with repetitive motions. Doesn't mean you don't have a new excitement for it and you don't have a new outlook. But the reason you have a new excitement outlook is because you recognize the power of the repetitive, of doing something on a regular basis in a disciplined form. How these are the real things that shape you. These are the things that really make a mark. The great exciting moments for the time when you experience them are wow. But then they just fall into oblivion and they're not part of who you are. But the things that you discipline yourself to do repetitively every day, because you do it repetitively, you try to find an excitement and an enjoyment of it, but they're still repetitive because you discipline yourself to behave in a certain way. This is when you make change in who you are. This is when you really start shaping and forming the great person you can become to be the best you can be. So these are the times when we have more time to focus on the things in life we want to discipline ourselves to do on a repetitive basis, but with the recognition of how empowering and how powerful they are and how much they will make our lives more enriched and how they will let us be the best we can be. And that is not impeded at all with the pandemic going on. In the country, we have more time and focus to be able to pay attention to this now. So I want to bless you all to pay attention to the things that you need to discipline yourself to follow and do it even if it's repetitive. Because that's how you're going to change yourself to become the best that you can be. So have a great day and a great week.